You're watching Good Morning BYU Idaho with your hosts Stacy Rosin and Derek Prince. Reporters Casey Skipper and Michael Kime. Weather with Chris Parker. Full Court Press with Colton Kimball, David Payne, and Marshall Thomas. Tech Me Out with Miles Prim. Movie Review with Carissa Jones. Odd News with Nick Young. Entertainment News with Ross Mtier and Case Jolly. And On the Beat with Brock Allen and David Stone.
Welcome to Good Morning BYU Idaho. My name is Derek Prince.
And I'm Stacy Rosin.
And we have a great show lined up for you guys today.
Earlier this morning, reporter Casey Skipper attended an art show, but not the typical kind of art show.
Today's events were just a sneak peek of this Saturday's Fashion and Floral Gala in the Hart Auditorium, but the first floor of the Man-Wearing Center had a little more life in it this morning than usual. The Applied Plant Science Department hosted the Art and Bloom Show, which showcased students' work. Each floral piece was modeled after a previously hung piece of art, but there was another surprise with each piece.
Now, it is interesting, may not be the flowers themselves, but these artist statements, which talk about why they wanted to do what they did, as well as what brought them here.
The artist statements were posted by each piece, and some pieces had journals, so viewers could write their thoughts. Reporting from the MC, I'm Casey Skipper. Back to you.
For more information and other floral pieces, you can attend the Fashion Show and Floral Gala March 25th from 1 to 4 p.m.
Here's Michael with more campus news.
Not all students agree with BYUI's policy of not being able to use longboards or skateboards on campus. Some students think it's ridiculous that they can't use the cruisers for the reason they were meant to, and others see the merit in this decision.
I think they should allow it. I mean, you see other things like unicycles and penny boards or bikes and scooters on campus, and they're allowed because there's no rule against it. But in my opinion, longboards are much safer than, per se, a unicycle.
I think it's a good idea because with every rule and regulation policy they have, there's always a good reason behind it. And so with that, it'll keep our students more safer. And there's honestly not a lot of room anyways to longboard or skateboard, so it's a good rule to have.
But no matter what they think, they're stuck with obeying campus rules with no policy change in sight. But on the bright side, there's always local parks to fall back to.
We hope the students can find a place to skate as they please.
We've been experiencing cold temperatures here in eastern Idaho. How's the weather looking, Chris?
Derek, Stacy, the weather here has been crazy in eastern Idaho, and it's only going to get a little bit more crazier with the wind and the rain. Currently, we have a temperature right now of 37 degrees. The winds are out of the southwest at 19 miles an hour. We do want you to be advised of the flood warnings stretching from Rexburg here all the way down into Pocatello. Now, I did mention the winds. The winds are going to be crazy all throughout next week. Blackfoot to Twin Falls, you've got a high wind warning, so be alert there. Now, what's the reason for all this? You have this big plume of moisture that's coming up from Southern California, and it's just skirting up to the eastern highlands and eastern Idaho. Also seeing some showers here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, we're going to go through the next couple of days here, and we have a front moving through. We're going to experience some clear skies, a little bit of a break, but don't let it fool you. We're going to have more showers creeping up from the south, already starting in Pocatello, and then they're going to make their way up north, the I-15 corridor towards Rexburg. And Rexburg will experience more showers and snow showers throughout Thursday and stretching into the early wee hours of Friday morning. Now, we want to talk about the wind. The wind has been crazy the last couple of days. We've had this low pressure coming out of the north from Washington, sinking into the Northern California area, and you also have this high pressure, which is causing that temperatures to be colder. Let's go over our temperatures here. We got 27 in Pinedale. We got 31 in Soda Springs, 30 in Afton. For the Snake River Plain, we've got 26 in Rexburg. We have Ashton at 32, Island Park at 31. Mackay will be 30 degrees, Arco will be 31 degrees, and Salmon 32. Blackfoot 36, 37, the INL will be at 34, and Burley will be our warm spot at 39 degrees. Now, with all this warm temperatures, we're going to experience more flooding, unfortunately, and high winds. Idaho Falls, your 8-day forecast, you have Wednesday and Thursday looking windy with snow showers, and into next week, Sunday, Monday, you're at 32 and 36 with more snow showers expected. In Pocatello here, highs will be ranging 34. Our warm spot will be Monday at 42 degrees, so melting will be a concern as more showers and flooding will happen over time. Let's go up to Blackfoot here. Basically the same forecast. You want to be watching out by the Portneuf River and also the Snake River. Don't be wading in it. You're going to want to stay away from these high waters until things subside. Unfortunately, it's not looking that way right now. And in Rexburg, we're going to experience snow showers. It's going to be a little bit colder, so Rexburg, be alert for some more snow. Get your shovels ready. We're going to jump over here to Salmon. And Salmon, you're going to experience a little bit of a break. Most of the moisture is just going to be south of you, so don't worry about as much rainfall right now. And in Jackson, for all our skiers, it's going to be snow, perfect skiing conditions with cold overnight lows. Saturday, Sunday will be 5 to 8 degrees. So Derek and Stacy, just be alert here, and drivers driving in the snow, be careful. Back to you guys.
Wow, more snow and rain. Hopefully we can see sunshine again soon. Thanks, Chris.
We'll now take you to David, Marshall, and Colton as they discuss the NBA playoffs.
Thanks, Derek and Stacy. I'm David Payne, here with Marshall Thomas and Colton Kimball. Welcome to the Full Court Press Show. If you missed us last week, we talked about the East, the NBA playoffs. This time, we're talking about where the real talent is in the West. We're going to break down the bracket and see what these guys think. All right, so first, we have the number 1 Warriors and the number 8 Nuggets. Marshall, what do you think?
You know, I think with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala, I think the Warriors are just too good for the Nuggets. I see them sweeping the Nuggets in 4 games and moving on to the second round fairly easy.
Colton?
I can see the same. The Warriors are dominant right now, and especially against the 8th-seeded Denver Nuggets, they're not going to be able to do it.
All right, we got the Warriors moving on. Colton, what do you think? Jazz and Clippers?
Well, the Clippers blew a 20-point lead with 5 minutes remaining last week, so I'm going to go with the Jazz. Jazz look very tough, and the Clippers just don't know how to win ball games.
Marshall, you agree with that?
You know, I'd say that the Jazz are the most underrated team in the league, and I see them winning in 5 games, and so them meeting up against the Warriors.
All right, now we've been talking a lot about the Rockets and the Thunder. Marshall, who do you have here?
I'm going to go with the upset. I think that Russell Westbrook is going to bring his A game, and the Thunder upset the Rockets in 6 games and move on to the second round.
Colton?
I don't think we should underestimate James Harden, though. Those Rockets, they're pretty tough, and they're the best three-point shooting team in the league. But I'm going to go with the Thunder also. Russell Westbrook is just unstoppable, and I can see them winning this in 7 games.
It will definitely go deep in the series. All right, last we got the Spurs and the Grizzlies in the first round. Colton, what do you think?
I'm going to have to go with my San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs looked unbelievable last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the Grizzlies, they have a great team, but they're not going to be able to beat the Spurs.
Marshall, you think the same?
You know, I think the way that the Spurs play in the playoffs, the Grizzlies have no chance, and it's a 4-game sweep.
All right, now it gets a little tougher. We got the Warriors and the Jazz. Colton, what do you think?
I think this is really easy to say. I'm going to say the Warriors. I don't see the Jazz beating the Golden State Warriors in any type of series. The Jazz just don't have the talent that the Warriors do. Even though the Warriors might not have Kevin Durant, I still feel like it's easy game for them.
Not so fast. I think the Jazz they could pull off the upset in 6 games and win in Utah. You know, I think, just like I said before, I think they're the most underrated team in the league right now, and I think that they could really sneak up on the Warriors.
I agree with you. The Jazz are great. They're going to win in Utah, but they're not going to beat the Warriors. So the Warriors are moving on. Sorry, Marshall.
It's all right. It's all right.
All right, now we got the Thunder and the Spurs. What do you think, Marshall?
I have the Spurs, you know, Kawhi Leonard, Greg Popovich in the playoffs, just like I mentioned earlier. I think it'll be tough, maybe 6, maybe 7 games, but I have the Spurs moving on.
Colton?
Well, they have Russell Westbrook, so
It's going to be tough.
it's going to be tough. But the Spurs also have the best defensive player in the league in Kawhi Leonard. They
All
take
right.
out Russell Westbrook with Kawhi, and who else does the Thunder have? No one. I'm going to take the Spurs, and it could be in a minimum of 4 games.
Wow, I don't know about that, but I think the Thunder will play well. Spurs are going to take it there. Okay, who do you guys think is going to take on the Cavs in the finals, the Warriors or the Spurs? Marshall?
You know, I think the Warriors for the 3rd straight year will be the Western Conference champs. I think they're just too offensively stacked, and the Spurs, you know, they really only have Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge. I think the 3-point shooting and just the offensive game will push them past the Spurs. So,
Colton, I know you have something to say about that.
Yeah, well, let's just take a look at the numbers, David. The Spurs have played the Warriors and the Cavs 4 times this year, and they're 4-0 against the Warriors and the Cavs. I'm going to have to go with the Spurs. Spurs are my team, and I think that they're going to be able to take the Warriors easily. And even if they don't have Kevin Durant, it's going to be an easier game.
All right, well, it's too close to decide, so I'm just going to put a question mark here because I'm not going to pick. But if you think you know who's going to play the Cavs, go ahead and tweet your vote at FullCourtPress0, and we'll check it out. Derek, back to you.
Well, it looks like it'll be a close one. We're excited to see how the rest of the season plays out.
Now for another tech review, here's our favorite geek, Miles Prim, with Tech Me Out. Miles?
Thanks, guys. Back again, everybody, with the egg. Enjoyability, graphics, and gameplay for, you guessed it, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game, I have to say, is probably my favorite of 2017 and probably will stay up there. Starting with the E, enjoyability. Yes, that's honestly all I can say. It is a fun game and really just brings out the kid in you again with all the great dynamics that they have put in to this new format of Legend of Zelda games. Graphics, oh my goodness. When this game came out, Michelangelo turned over in his grave so he could hide his tears. It is beautiful. Especially with Nintendo always being behind its competitors in graphics, the 1080p quality really makes it stand out and push forward, and now Nintendo is running with the pack. And gameplay. Nintendo has always been iconic for fairly simple games. Always easy to play, very few buttons and very little mechanics, but also making it very interactive. It goes the same with the Nintendo Switch's version of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Not only can you use the Joy-Cons as individual controllers, but you can actually move them how the Wii system was used and incorporate that into your gameplay. Overall, this is a good egg. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Back to you.
Thanks for the review, Miles.
Another iconic live-action Disney movie premiered in theaters last week. Let's turn to Carissa for more details on Beauty and the Beast.
That's right, Derek and Stacy. Beauty and the Beast opened over the weekend with a box office value of $170 million. This puts them at the number 6 spot on the top 10 biggest box office debuts across the world. The movie also broke the box office records. The ratings themselves were not terribly high, stopping at about a 70% average, but the viewers sure did want to see it, some of which have even admitted to seeing the movie more than once. I guess Disney will never stop us from wanting to see more.
There really is nothing quite like Disney.
There sure isn't.
And now we'll turn to Nick Young for the odd news that other news stations don't tell you about.
Thank you, Derek and Stacy, and welcome to Odd News. Today we're going to start with dating. Are you having problems getting a date? A student from Michigan State University had this exact same problem. He tried asking out a girl, and ultimately she asked him if he had a dating resume. When he answered no, she turned him down. This inspired the student Joey Adams to create a dating resume. A week later, a woman posted on Facebook that she needed a date for her roommate. This was Joey's opportunity to shine. And within a week, Joey was getting nonstop calls. In fact, he was featured on BuzzFeed and Good Morning America for his resounding resume. Adams is still receiving nonstop phone calls regarding dates, and yes, ladies, he is still single. In other news, a zoo in Moscow is suing a production company for traumatizing the raccoon. The zoo loaned out the raccoon to a production company for a commercial. However, the production company did not mention that they were going to be using a topless model in the commercial. The zoo claimed that the raccoon came back traumatized and obsessed with breasts, which is unacceptable for a petting zoo. It took 3 months for him to change back to his original behavior. The zoo said that he is now happy again. Now, what would you do if you heard a ghost? Last week in Carroll, Iowa, Brad Sapp thought he heard a ghost at night. The ghost said, "Get out of here." Sapp's wife called him crazy and dismissed him until later, and she heard a man crying that he was stuck in the chimney. The couple called the police, and later rescuers freed a man to find that not only was he stuck in the chimney, but he was naked. The man claimed that he was playing tag and fell down the chimney and became stuck. The man was charged with trespassing, and until today, no one knows why he took off his clothes to begin with. So the next time you think your house is haunted, it might just be a naked man in your chimney.
Thanks, Nick, for the news we don't normally hear.
And now for your entertainment news, we bring you Case and Ross from our New York studios. Ross, we hear that Beyonce continues to surprise us. What is the latest you have on her?
Thanks, Derek, and welcome to Entertainment News. Case. Now, basically, apparently Ebony, a fan who has a rare skin condition, basically has one of her last wishes, and that is to see Beyonce. So her fans and her family and her friends, they basically went on a rampage on social media studying this campaign, and eventually it landed on Beyonce's ears. And she then made it a point to go out and meet with this fan, and they FaceTimed. How amazing is that?
See, I think that's really great, honestly, because celebrities, we see them only on television, the red carpet, on stage. So when they take time out of their lives to actually greet their fans and talk to them, I think that's something that's really cool and makes us feel like we're actually connected to them in some way.
Yeah, I think Beyonce really has a halo for real.
Could say.
Yeah. So tell us what's going on with Adele lately.
So Adele, she is kind of upsetting some of her fans. And upsetting them is in crying, sad upset. In that when she was in New Zealand, she said that this could possibly be her last tour. She's not really sure if she wants to go on any more tours.
Oh my God.
Not really her cup of tea. She'd rather sit at home and eat some Chinese food. So fans are kind of freaking out.
Oh no, and it sounds like it's not only New Zealand who's not going to be happy with those news, but the rest of the world. So how is she going to, compensate for not performing on stage? What is she going to do?
Well, let's hope she keeps coming out with CDs, right? Let's hope she doesn't just stay at home and eat Chinese food. We want more Adele music. Everybody loves it. So I think if she's not going to go out and tour, that she needs to produce some more music. But stars always say this, hey, I'm going to take a break from touring, and then eventually they come back out. So.
Well, Adele is my girl, so whatever you need, girl, whatever you need. Yes, and Beauty and the Beast literally surpasses their original movie in 1991 in the box office sales, and everybody is going crazy. And apparently this happened in just 1 week of being released. It's a mad business.
Yeah, no, it's booming in the box office, that's for sure. But a lot of people are having some mixed reviews from what I've seen. I've heard some people say that it's really good. Some people say it's about the same as animated. Some people say that they were kind of underwhelmed. So
I honestly think, some of the things that really boosted it was one of the additions with the gay guy that has a fan on Gaston. And I think that's something that a lot of people were curious about and wanted to see, or pretty much were annoyed about and wanted to see. To still see. So it really goes on both ways, but it was just an interesting perspective from a Disney movie. But that guy, that Beast, is really beastie. He is one. Have you seen the movie?
I have not yet seen it. It's on my watch list, but one
of
these days.
I haven't seen it either, but the the highlights that I have seen, he looks horrible. I don't know how I could have managed, to deal with that.
Yeah. But, well, speaking of movies, I don't know how much of a superhero fan you are, but it turns out that the Justice League trailer that came out, it's a new one, it caused a lot of buzz this weekend. It started over 200,000 new conversations online. So what do you think? Are you a superhero fan? Are you going to see it? Do you not care?
You know what? I'm not a big follower of these Justice League guys, but I really liked the Superman versus Batman movie, and I personally have a favorite. Superman, I think, is really handsome. He's my guy.
See, I'm a Batman fan, so I was on Batman's side.
Okay, all right.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight with Entertainment News. Join us tomorrow for more.
Yeah, and stay tuned.
Sounds like there's a lot going on in the entertainment world. Thanks for keeping us informed.
Now we're going to go to our On the Beat segment, where Brock Allen is interviewing David Stone on his love for music that led him to make his own guitar and his hopes for a future radio show.
Welcome to On the Beat. I'm your host, Brock Allen. Today I'm really excited to have our interview with David Stone. We're going to talk about music, some of your interests with that. Stone, thanks for meeting with me today.
Thank you.
So let's just talk. I know you love like 80s, like rock and roll a lot. What got you into that type of music?
Well, it all started with my dad. He was a big fan of rock music, and I grew up listening to the Doobie Brothers, the Eagles, all the really classic music, Aerosmith, you name it, I've probably heard it.
Mm-hmm. Was there a time, like a specific band, was it like the Doobie Brothers or the Eagles that you thought, this is something I really like and I would like to kind of do as well?
It actually happened when I was about 12 years old. I heard Van Halen and Def Leppard, and I really loved that music a lot. I've played all their albums into the ground pretty much, and that kind of sparked my interest in wanting to play guitar.
Okay, so it was around 12 that you started playing guitar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and did you start trying to play those songs?
Yeah.
Bands, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Have you started trying to write your own music at all, or?
I've attempted a couple of times, me and my younger brother, and we're still working on it, trying to figure out how it all goes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, something you were telling me before that I think is really unique is that you've built your own guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about that.
It was just an idea I had, you know. basically you can't get a good guitar for a reasonable price. You know, everything is so expensive out there, and I figured, you know, if I can't have the guitar that I want, I'll just build it instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, through the process of building it, did you learn more about guitar playing or music in general?
Absolutely, yeah. You learn so much when you build your own instruments. It gives you like a second nature of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us today. And I'm Brock Allen, and that's On the Beat.
I can't wait to listen to the show.
Well, that will wrap it up for us today.
Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Stacy Rosin.
And I'm Derek Prince. Have a good morning, BYU Idaho.